in the quiet hills surrounding Bethlehem, where the air was crisp and the morning sun painted the earth with gold, a young boy named David watched over his father's sheep. David was the youngest of 8 sons born to Jesse, a man of modest means and humble faith. The family was part of the tribe of Judah, one among many scattered families living simple lives in villages nestled between rugged hills and fertile valleys. David's childhood was far from the grand palaces and bustling cities of kings and princes. His world was vast open fields, winding paths, rocky outcrops, and the soft murmur streams weaving through olive groves. His daily task was to protect the sheep from wild animals that prowled the wilderness, lions, bears, and other predators eager to claim an easy meal. Alone in the fields, David's senses sharpened, and he grew quick of foot and steady of hand. One morning, just as dawn's first light touched the horizon, David led the flock toward a new pasture. The dew sparkled on the grass, and the sky was a canvas of pale pink and orange. Suddenly, a low growl cut through the stillness. From behind a cluster of bushes, a lion sprang toward a lamb. David's heart pounded, but he was not afraid. He gripped a stone, placed it in his sling, and swung it with practiced precision. The stone struck the lion's head, sending the beast retreating. David rushed the frightened lamb and cradled it gently, whispering a prayer of thanks. This was no isolated incident. Over the years, David faced such dangers repeatedly, and each time he emerged stronger, his trust in God deepening. His quiet faith became his armor, unseen but unbreakable. At night, beneath the vast canopy of stars, David sang songs of praise, his clear voice carrying over the hills. These songs, full of wonder and hope, would one day become part of the psalms that generations would cherish. David's older brothers were strong and tall, trained for battle and service. They worked hard, earning respect in the community and preparing to defend their people. David, however, was different, not just in size, but in spirit. While his brothers sharpened swords, David sharpened his heart. One day, as David tended the sheep, a messenger arrived from the king's court. The Israelites were preparing for war against their enemies, the Philistines. The Philistines had a champion, a giant named Goliath, who stood over 9 feet tall and wore armor so heavy it clanked with each step. For 40 days, Goliath taunted the Israelite army, challenging any man to fight him and humbling the soldiers with his boasts. David's father sent him to the battlefield to deliver food to his older brothers, who had joined the army. As David arrived, he heard Goliath's booming voice and saw the fear in the soldiers' eyes. Who is this giant that he defies the armies of the living God? David asked. His words were met with disbelief. "You are just a boy," one brother scoffed. But David's heart knew no fear. Determined, David approached King Saul and declared his intention to fight Goliath. Saul doubted him. "You are too young," the king warned, "and he is a seasoned warrior." But David told Saul of his battles with lions and bears and how God had protected him then. "The Lord who saved me will save me now," he said confidently. Saul offered his armor, but it was heavy and unfamiliar. David chose instead his sling and 5 smooth stones he gathered from a nearby stream. Facing the giant, David spoke boldly. "You come to me with sword and spear, but I come in the name of the Lord Almighty." The battle was swift. David swung his sling, releasing a stone that flew true and struck Goliath's forehead. The giant fell, and the Israelite army erupted in cheers. David's victory was more than a battle won. It was a testament of faith over fear, courage over size. Fame followed quickly. David was welcomed into the king's court and celebrated by the people. But Saul's heart darkened with envy. He feared David's popularity would overthrow him. What was once mentorship turned into deadly suspicion. David's life became a perilous journey of survival. Forced to flee, he wandered the wilderness, hiding in caves and remote places. His followers grew, men inspired by his faith and leadership. Yet, danger was constant. Saul's men sought him relentlessly. Even in exile, David's spirit soared. He sang songs that expressed his deepest emotions, songs of longing, trust, grief, and praise. These psalms remain powerful today, their words timeless. David's friendship with Jonathan, Saul's son, was a beacon in dark times. Despite his father's hatred for David, Jonathan protected his friend. risking all for loyalty and love. Their bond showed that true friendship is a gift beyond politics and power. Years passed, and David's moment came. After Saul and Jonathan died in battle, David was anointed king, first over Judah, then all Israel. He united the tribes and established Jerusalem as a capital, bringing the Ark of the Covenant to the city, making it the spiritual heart of a nation. David's reign was marked by triumph and trial. He led his armies to victory, expanded the kingdom, and secured peace. Yet his personal life was troubled. Family strife, rebellion, and mistakes tested his character. Through it all, David remained a man after God's own heart, humble in repentance, steadfast in faith. His Psalms reveal a man who knew joy and sorrow, fear and hope, failure and forgiveness. David's legacy endures. His life teaches courage, faith, humility, and leadership. From shepherd boy to king, David's story reminds us that greatness comes from trust, heart, and perseverance. No matter the giants we face, David's example shows that faith and courage can lead us to triumph.